We're going to go through a presentation, discuss the launch of the board's new strategic plan, and do just one of our required safety trainings. But before we get started, I'd like to introduce three of our board members who were able to make it this morning. You may not realize this, but being on the Board of School Trustees takes an incredible amount of time, and there's not a lot of benefit to it besides the fact that, just like you, they are serving our community. So I want to thank them for being here this morning. First, I'd like to introduce Shannon Walls, the Board Vice President. Kelly Freeman, the Board Secretary. And Tony May, a board member and former board president. So good morning, Mount Vernon. Man, our summer is gone and we're getting ready to embark on a new school year. The first day of school is a momentous occasion for families. You know, mom and dad get the camera out, the iPhone out, and take pictures because it's filled with promise, possibility, and the fresh start for a school year for students and for our staff. And I threw in a picture last night. I was sitting with my wife. This is 2012, and that's my son Bryce on the left and my son Brandon on the right. Bryce will be a sophomore at Franklin College, and Brandon's a sophomore here at Mount Vernon. It goes quickly, and parents treasure that moment. And there's something that's just cleansing about the start of a new school year because it is a fresh start for all of us. I believe our team of 600 employees are ready to live up to the expectations of our community and bring the momentum necessary to provide world-class teaching to over 4,000 students in our school district. We have eclipsed 4,000 this year. We have the largest kindergarten class in the history of this school district with well over 300 students. I think that says a lot about our community. It says that when we talk to people that move here, they are moving here largely in part because of the school system, and that's because of you. You're the ones that interact with them on a daily basis, and so for that word to spread and that Mount Vernon's a great place to be is attributed to you. The attack on American education started with the launch of Sputnik in 1957. Some of you remember that. Most of you don't, but we've read about it. It continued in 1983 when there was a documentary release called A Nation at Risk. And it was at that point people thought that America was falling behind in world education. However, it's led us to believe that you're not appreciated for what you do. And if you feel that way, I would say you're terribly mistaken. And I'll give you an example. Your school board, I guarantee you, appreciates you. When we meet, they want to know what we're doing to provide the best opportunities, resources, and financial benefit and gain to our staff that we possibly can. They appreciate you. Your administrative team appreciates you. Sometimes we have the hard discussions. However, it's to make you better and it's to make us better, but they appreciate you. Your peers appreciate you. The parents appreciate you. And you don't always hear that. You only hear the bad sometimes, but trust me, your parents appreciate you. And even though they don't show it, I guarantee you, your students appreciate you. It's evident that each of you have answered the call to serve, knowing that all this, cloud sometimes hangs over public education, but you're here. You have an incredible opportunity to make the difference in the life of a student. For some of our students, school is the nicest place they will spend time and the only place they will ever feel respect. And so on some of the most challenging days, you got to take a step back and try to understand why your students are acting the way they are, because there's probably a good reason for that. Technology has caused change to occur at obviously a breakneck pace, and we've done our very best to provide that technology and innovative strategies to our students, not just because we're trying to keep up with the Joneses, but because, as I explained to a delegation from the Republic of Korea a couple days ago, it's a way to encourage engagement out of our students. It's the world that they live in. Who'd ever thought that we'd have drone technology, Mr. Shaver? We have drone technology here, and our kids are the ones that are managing that drone technology. Cars that drive by themselves. And so you can look at the way you operate. You always do the things that you've always did. You're always going to get the things you've always got. We can't do that. There is no status quo in our society any longer. As we enter the new year, I offer you just a single challenge, and that's remember to be courageous. When you have the difficult student, when you have the difficult parent, when you have the difficult peer, just remember to be courageous. Be courageous in your classrooms or whatever area of the district that you serve, because together we make the Mount Vernon team, the Mount Vernon family. You know, and I've been very impressed since my first day here in 2015 on the term, the Marauder Way. And for those of you who are new to the district, and we're going to introduce you here in a few minutes, you will learn that the Marauder Way is something very real to us. I think that is definitely what makes Mount Vernon a special place. Always look forward to a new school year, you know, but for some reason I will tell you this school year more than others, I'm really looking forward to it. Part of my excitement is seeing all the incredible work that's taken place this summer. We've spent a lot of time planning for the much needed renovation of Mount Vernon Middle School. The first step of that renovation is finally complete as we open a brand new cafeteria and finally feed our students in an environment that's going to be able to house them and house the 8th graders when we prepare to move them back to that building. Part of it is the new turf field at the high school. You know, it's moving slowly, but the turf field and the renovation of the auxiliary gym at the high school and the teachers that have looked at alternative seating arrangements in their classrooms has me excited. McCordsville Elementary School got a new front parking lot, and that building, as well as Mount Comfort Elementary School, looks as good as I've seen it since the day I got here. And granted, they're new buildings, but our staff has put a tremendous amount of effort and time into those buildings. So I think we ought to give them our appreciation when we see them. At Fortville Elementary School, life's going to change. We've got probably another 150 students that are going to be in that building this year, and several more staff members. We've got a new playground that's on the way. We just couldn't squeeze everything in 8 weeks. So a lot of neat things that are happening down at Fortville. The other reason for my excitement is the amazing growth that we observed in our achievement results at the end of 2016-17. You know, and at the end of the day, that's what schools are judged on, is how well their students achieve. The results are still embargoed. However, we had 143 students pass the I-Step Plus this year that didn't pass last year. That didn't happen by chance. The data walls, the working with data, the looking at NWEA scores, the tense pressure where we felt like we were throwing too much at you, you achieved, and you achieved at a high level. We know our testing system is flawed. It is. However, it's a system that we're forced to reside within, and we're going to make the most of it. And we're going to make sure that we are all A buildings in an A district and exemplary in our area and in the state. So I want to pause there, and I want to take a few minutes to recognize a few staff members. So when I call your name, would you please come up on stage? The first one is Tessa Globerger from McCordsville Elementary School. Kathy Ringham, Mount Comfort Elementary School. Nikki Privet, Fortville Elementary School. Kitty Masters, 6th grade, Mount Vernon Middle School. Melissa Blair, 7th grade, Mount Vernon Middle School. Trish Laughlin, AP Spanish, Mount Vernon High School. Troy Guthrie, AP US History, Mount Vernon High School. Sarah Terrell, AP European History, Mount Vernon High School.
Derek Sumter, 8th grade.
Skippy?
Derek Sumter. No, you did.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Derek Sumter, 8th grade, Mount Vernon Middle School. And then these are non-teaching, but I would like to recognize George Rapert and Dwayne Jones, transportation. And Gretchen Sitton, Mount Vernon High School, or Mount Vernon Community School Corporation, Human Resources. So, why are you up here? All right? Your students had the highest achievement rates in the district for your grade level. I would love to recognize everybody, and we had other people that did remarkably well, but I'm just going to tell you this. Performance, it matters, okay? Growth of our students matter, and you are to be commended for the work you guys have done. Our AP scores at the high school from 2015 to now have taken a tremendous leap. Our achievement levels at the elementary school and the middle school have taken a tremendous leap, and I can't help but think that at the end of the day, that's what's going to catapult us back into being an A district and A school. So thank you so much for your time, for your efforts. The Starbucks card isn't much, it's $10. I love Starbucks, but thank you for being stars at Mount Vernon. Thank you. Okay, this next part, we obviously, when you grow 600 students in 2 calendar years to start the 3rd calendar year, you need staff, all right? So we've had retirements, but we've also added staff, and so I want to take this time to just introduce our staff. The other thing, we've had some reorganization at the district level so we can support you in the classrooms and in the other things that you're doing. So obviously, I'm Shane Robbins. I'm superintendent, starting my 3rd year here, and I'm very blessed to be able to be in this district. Also have Dr. Tim Long, who is a longtime superintendent and retired and is now serving as the assistant superintendent. He has a lot of construction background. He will be our clerk of the works for the time being. You'll see him in the buildings. He's a very busy man and loves to be involved. Scott Shipley is now our director of secondary education. Scott? So we felt like it was important that there's such a difference in elementary to secondary education. We wanted to split that up. So Scott will be working primarily with the middle schools, the high schools. He'll also be working with the vocational programming, our Title II grant, and then also he was the one that spearheaded the Hancock County 529 program, and he'll still be managing that. I have Heather Neskis, who is now our director of elementary education. She'll be working primarily with grades K through 5. She will also be managing the Title I grant, and you'll see a lot of training taking place. Now that we have the nice facility in our building, and even in your buildings, they will be managing the professional development that's going to take place year-round. Laura Durig is our director of special education. Laura, she also is overseeing our preschool program. I will tell you that this is year 2 of preschool at Mount Vernon, and we are up to 110 preschoolers in my building. That's a lot of little kiddos running around. So that's another good thing. Greg Rollo returns as our director of technology, and again, I joke about Greg because he told me how excited he was for us to be a one-to-one school district when I got here, and that first summer we had semis in the hottest day of the summer and pallets pulling computers off the back of those semi-trailers, and we've come such a long way, and so Greg is leading that department. Maria Bond returns as our Director of Community Relations, and I'm just going to throw this out. You know, I don't like necessarily being on TV, but because of Maria, I'm on TV a lot, being able to promote our school district, and that's because she has such a good network with the media in the area and in the Indianapolis area that we're able to do those things and really promote about Mount Vernon, which I think is a great thing. For a short term, Brian Tomamichael will serve as our Chief Financial Officer. For those of you who don't know, first of all, I just want to take a second to say, you know, when I came here, our district had a general fund referendum. We were $4 million in debt, and it was doom and gloom in the district, okay? But, you know, with his help and the hard work and the support of our board, we have a cash balance. we returned the general fund referendum, and things are on very stable grounds, and we have a very bright future. But Brian has accepted the CFO position at Westfield, Washington, and I just think everybody should give him a round of applause for his hard work. Joe Anderson will be, we obviously were successful in our bid for the digital learning grant, and so Joe Anderson's going to teach math half a day at the high school and then serve as the secondary technology integration specialist, so middle school, high school teachers. Mr. Shipley is going to make sure that he is very, very busy, and he's working with you and providing you the training necessary so that you can embed instructional technology in your classroom. Misty Hall is going to serve full day, and there'll be a little crossover at the middle school, but as our elementary technology integration specialist, and we're happy to have her on board and doing the same things. You know, you need to train. It's just not by chance that we learn how to use some of these tools. Courtney Stryker will serve as our elementary literacy coach, working on RTI for the district. That's one thing that's very important that we're lacking at Mount Vernon is a really good RTI process, and so we're trying to tie all those loose ends up, and she's going to be working in that capacity with Mrs. Neskis. And then we have a new approach trying to build our STEM program and our robotics programming. We have Kathy Tingwald and Amy Lovell who will be the STEM teachers for K through 5. So you'll see that they'll be in all 3 buildings to go along with our high ability, our special ed, and some of the other great things that we're doing to try to provide opportunities for students in our district. So that is the central office staff. I'm going to turn it over to, I don't know who's up next. Might be the high school. Nope. It's you, Dr. Long.
Hey, it's great. I like works. A little more karaoke for you. I'm pretty good at it. We're going to start out. I want to, if I can find where I was in my placemat here. I want to give those people that performed on iStep so highly another big round of applause. And to support our mission and Dr. Robbins, his vision for us, we should be an A district. We've got the kids, we've got the community, we've got the people to do it. And what I'd say to all of you is new teachers or even veteran teachers, find someone that's doing it right, talk with them, and it's a lot easier than trying to invent the wheel yourself. So those people are just some examples. There were several people that did really well on testing this year. Your principals will let you know that. But share amongst yourselves. We don't need to bring people in here from Chicago or Indianapolis. We've got the staff and the talent right here that can help us with all the in-service needs that we have. So give yourself a pat on the back and try to get out there and find those people that are being successful in this system, and then have them work with you, help you, and adjust your things, and it'll be much easier, and you'll have a great year, I know. We do have 2 staff members. You know, as teachers, I'm still a teacher. I teach at the college level. You know, I just show up one day and start teaching. But schools and universities, they are a 12-month-a-year proposition. And all the time that people were out, we had people crawling all over every one of these schools trying to get it ready for all of you. And I'd like to give all our maintenance, custodial staff a big round of applause. You know, and sometimes you might not understand it, but, you know, we have people that get hurt on the job, or, you know, sometimes, you know, it's not the best job in the world because you're doing things out there. Ron Jordan and Muriel Sims were 2 individuals that got so badly hurt on the job that they had to go and have serious surgeries this year. So, you know, it's not something you really think about all the time, but I wanted them to know, and the people to know, they're in our thoughts and prayers. A couple people that have really stepped up to the plate in the last year for me. Brian Evans. Brian, at least just walk out here in the light. You're big enough, everybody ought to be able to see you. Okay? If Brian gets cut, he bleeds gold, okay? He is Mount Vernon through and through, and Brian, I just appreciate all your efforts. Rita, where's Rita Osborne at? Rita, stand up, will you? You might have to. Rita does transportation for us. And Dwayne Jones, I don't know if Dwayne's in here, but Dwayne's one of my assistants, and he just works really hard too. But to get all this ready, we've got 13 new bus drivers that are on board to get licensed, and a year ago we had -3. So they've done a great job with that. Our maintenance staff, I'll tell you what, we've taken on so many things that used to be farmed out that we're doing inside. We can handle electrical, plumbing, just HVAC, about anything. So hopefully when you get back, you're going to find a great, great environment. When you go into, I'll just call out McCordsville Elementary School, that cafeteria and front is just beautiful. So they've really worked hard. All our staff's worked hard this summer and did a great, great job. Also the business office. Sometimes we forget the people at the central office that make this place work. But in payroll, Lisa Heitman, Gretchen Sitton, I don't know where they're all. Are they here? They're probably over there working, aren't they? Yeah. But let's give all our business people, support people, a nice round of applause. Dr. Robbins, you want me to read our new people? Okay. New people that we have, I'm going to read. This is on the custodial maintenance side. Crystal Dahl, Dennis James, Lauren Smith, and if you're here, stand up. I'm just going to read through the names. I know we've got a lot of names. Ron White, and not the comedian, although I do kind of joke with him a little bit. Steve Thomas, new high school head custodian. Ricky McLaughlin is here, I'm sure. Chris Walker, Daniel Maley, Daniel Kersing, Jeff Odell. Jeff's the new head custodian at the middle school. Kathy Womack, Josh Long, former graduate. Leanne Wright, Muriel Sims, who's out because of, again, injury. Richard Tucker, and Amber Morris. So if they're here, let's give them a nice round of applause. New bus drivers, this is our first wave of hatchlings. Leanne Wright, Amanda Epperson, Julie Vandergrift, Michelle Davis, Natalie Tucker, and Rick Tucker. So I guess I read Rick twice, but I'm reading. You will notice one thing, and I do want to give our bus drivers all a round of applause. They are front line every day. And you know what? We do have discipline on the buses now, no question. So that's a good thing. We want to get them here. Another thing on our buses, Wi-Fi. Dr. Robbins has put Wi-Fi on all the buses. We're moving to air-conditioned buses as well, which should keep the kids a little calmer. And we'll have stop-arm cameras for safety on all our buses as well. So make it a great year, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Long. Next, this is probably our biggest building just because we had the redistricting and the transition. But as I introduce Stacy Muffler, Mrs. Muffler is not new to the district, but new to her position. So she will be the principal at Fortville Elementary School. So Stacy, if you want to introduce your new staff.
Good morning. Welcome back. Just before I introduce our new staff, I want to give a few thank yous and give some thanks. Our custodial staff at Fortville had a different summer. On top of their list the things that they needed to get done, we shuffled teachers around in that building everywhere. We had everyone move except 4 teachers. So we were packing things up, putting them on pallets, and they just did a phenomenal job. So Fortville staff, when you see them today, make sure to give them some thanks. Veronica Kirby, bless your heart, girl. She had a lot to get done this summer, moving classrooms, moving phones, moving computers. So thank you for all your work. Okay, new staff, here we go. We have when I say your name, stand up, please. Krista Weber is joining us in guidance as our guidance counselor. Laurel Tinsley will be our mental health therapist. Brandy Bell is joining us in special education. Dr. Robbins mentioned lots of kindergartners, so here we go. Rachel Dinwiddie is joining us in kindergarten. She's joining us from McCordsville. Caitlin Koning from kindergarten, she'll be in kindergarten. Laura Weisenbach, kindergarten. Shelby Martin will be joining us as a first grade teacher, Mount Vernon grad. Carol Rigsby, first grade. Emily Gardner will be joining us in second grade. Lydia Quinn, fourth grade. Lauren Rifle is joining us from the middle school, so she'll be a fourth grade teacher for us. Fred Bays is returning to Fortville, fourth grade teacher. Ozzie Mann is joining us as a fifth grade teacher this year. John Palmer, fifth grade. Whitney Fulkerson, special education IA. Cindy Welter, special education. Deja Lockett, special education IA. And Dawn Teschendorf, special education IA. We also had two other transfers. Sherry Early is transferring from McCordsville. She'll join us in second grade. And Alan Hendersall is joining us from the middle school. So,
The assistant principal.
yes, thank you. So yes, we finished hiring last night at 8 o'clock, and we started in May. So one other hire that was extremely important, we took a lot of time, and it was an important position for us to fill, and Annie Gale, stand up please. Annie is our new assistant principal. She's my right-hand girl at Fortville, so excited to have Annie. She's joining us from Daleville and previously a data coach at Anderson. So it's been a busy summer, very exciting building our team, and we're thrilled to get back going. So good luck. Here we go. Great year.
McCordsville Elementary School, Mrs. Miller. Look at your list. It's because they left your building and went to Fortville.
Stark contrast, I know. We went from 636, and what are you now, Muffler? 638. However, McCordsville is now at 575, so our class sizes are kind of going up. So it's just a testament to the growth of Mount Vernon, so it's a great place to be. Thank you all for the summer. Dr. Long was correct. Our building has never looked better, so the teachers are very blessed to come to a very, very pristine building. So I'd like to welcome Laurie Davis Kelly to special education. Is she here? She comes to us from Pike Township, just graduated on Saturday with her master's with a focus on autism, so we have a wealth of knowledge coming to us. Kaylin Negley, PE, she is a Mount Vernon grad and one of, I believe, 4 or 5 Mount Vernon grads that played on the same basketball team together. So she said it was like a class reunion. So, and also I'd like to congratulate my staff publicly for doing so well performance-wise on ISTEP. We'll talk more about that when we get back to our building. So, so we are ready to go, guys.
So Casey Dodd, principal at Mount Comfort Elementary School, and this will be his first year in that position as well. So, Mr. Dodd.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. I'm going to echo what a lot of other people have already said as far as our building looks magnificent right now, and that is purely because of the efforts of our custodial staff. So Donna Dillon, Daniel Maley, Sherry Davis has been out there, and I know there's been a ton of other people that have had their hands on that building, so thank you very much. Also, our tech staff with John Michael Weaver. He's had a busy summer making sure that everything's ready to start the year. And then also our front office staff with Diana McCarty and Teresa McGow-Russell. We have had a busy summer as well with a ton of hires, and we've done an awesome job of just getting absolutely great candidates. So when I call your name, please stand up. Katie Huggins will be joining us in first grade. Ashley Stewart is going to be in second grade this year. Katie Downand in third grade. Aaron Heller in fourth grade. Ashley Witt in 4th grade. Jessica Brown, another Mount Vernon alum, will be joining us with the Character Counts program. She'll also spend some time in other buildings as well. Laurel Tinsley has been mentioned before. She'll also be in our building helping with mental health therapy. Mackenzie Woodard is going to be joining us in the resource department, as well as Melanie Bass in the resource department. Our new guidance counselor for this year is Taryn Strickland. And one other person that was with us last year but is joining us on a full-time basis this year is Shirley Maxwell, an instructional assistant. Thank you very much.
Mr. Williams, Mount Vernon Middle School.
All right. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I just love the energy in this room, the excitement, the appreciation, the gratitude for people working hard. I'm telling you what, we have been interviewing people, and I've been talking to the principals. People are excited to come here to Mount Vernon and work. They want to come to Mount Vernon. They're coming from neighboring districts. They're driving for an hour just to come and work here. It is a great place to work. I'm telling you what, I want to share with you a simple saying. It's a good saying. A merry heart does good like medicine, but a broken and bitter spirit dries up the bone. Be intentional about the joy of teaching. Be intentional, because we're saturated with negative news all around us. Media, social media. Be intentional. Don't let anybody steal your joy. Be excited. Teachers should be the most confident people on the planet. They should be. They should be the most confident people on the planet. And here's why. There's so many people going to work this morning. They're going to spend their lives, and they're going to be on their deathbed, and they're going to wonder whether or not they made a difference in the world. Teachers, when they're lying on their deathbed, will never have that problem. You're making a difference in the lives of people. That should bring you such satisfaction and such great joy. So remember that. So let me introduce real quick our new staff members to Mount Vernon Middle School. We got Rachel Branson, please stand up. She's coming from Daleville. We got Brandon Durrickson, football player from Anderson University, teaching 8th grade math. Jill Stewart's coming from Wilkinson, right? Waldron, one of those places that starts with a W. She's full of sunshine. Eric Harnish, he's a Mount Vernon grad, 2011. I used to coach him in football. He was calling me Coach Williams during the interview. I'm like, listen, Eric, it's Mr. Williams now. We got Rachel Shepard. She's coming from HSC. She's our new guidance counselor. Brenda Shaneline, she has worked in engineering, and we are so pumped up. This just came across our desk. She's going to teach 8th grade robotics. We're so excited to have a robotics program at the middle school. Dina Velpel, special education. Last but not least, Johannah Welton. She is going to be a temp sub for Bonnie Stites. 3 more people I want to acknowledge. We want to acknowledge our new assistant principal, Crystal Cooper. She's going to be stationed at the 6-7 building. Lene Case, she's going to be at the 8th grade academy. And Julie Shelton, she's going to be helping us out with the athletic department. She's working at the high school and the middle school. We're looking forward to great things. Let me hand it over to the man himself, Mr. Roach.
Zig Ziglar will be followed by Ben Williams will be followed by Mr. Roach.
Bueller. Anyone? Those of you not old enough, that's from Ferris Bueller. I couldn't match that, so I had to do something. Thanks, Ben. You go last next year. It used to be that the high school always went last because everybody would get up here and tell stories. and you had Phil Davis, you had John Price, and then we had Joe Loomis. And those of you that don't know Joe would always match whatever story you had and tell one that was even bigger. He was shot at a football game. He delivered a baby at the same time while the ambulance was coming to get him. Everybody that knows Joe will call him and tell him I made fun of him today, and he'll say, that's great, I got mentioned at the opening day. So I would also like to thank several people. First of all, our office staff. We are a building that's open 12 months a year. We did not have a closed day all year, so we had staff in here, and they spent their summer working. I would like to thank my counseling staff, and I want them to stand. They are still working on schedules, but they are working extremely hard. The two of you, too. We had, at 4 o'clock yesterday, we had 3 or 4 students walk in to register, new students. So we are still growing. We're at about 1345, I think, right now, and growing. Over 100 students more than last year. And we're not just getting them from another building. These are new kids coming in. So but we'll teach them the Mount Vernon way. When I say your name, I'll introduce the new staff. Just please stand. Megan Addison, Family and Consumer Science teacher for us. Megan is another Mount Vernon graduate. Sarah Archer, a Media Center assistant for us. Trudy Cole, instructional assistant. Katie Hall, instructional assistant. Justin Holden, math teacher. John Johnson, science teacher. Neo Kazmierzak, our PE teacher, weightlifting, and head football coach. And Julie Shelton, assistant athletic director, girls basketball head coach. She got tired of the Butler way after a couple years and came back to the Mount Vernon way. If I could, all Mount Vernon graduates, would you please stand? Stay standing, please. Stay standing. Stay standing. Stay standing. All parents that have students that have either graduated or are in Mount Vernon schools, please stand. All teachers and staff. Folks, this is a huge, huge testament to our school and our district. I said it earlier this summer, we are now a destination. We are a place people seek out. These folks having students in our buildings now and the graduates that have come back are certainly a testimony to the great things that we're doing. Thank you.
Next, I'll be followed by Mrs. Durig, Special Education and Preschool.
Welcome back. We're going to have a great school year. And before I introduce the new staff, I'd like to take a moment to thank Brian Evans and his team. They have spent a lot of time working on the air conditioning down in the preschool, and then our custodians, Cliff and Eric, who have moved a lot of furniture and done a lot of work to help get things going. We have a library now in the preschool, and they've spent a lot of time helping us get that ready as well. And then we have since our preschool has grown we have 30 more children starting day one in classrooms in the preschool than we had last year. So we've added staff, and we have Brittany Stewart as one of our new early childhood teachers. Heather Jackson is also a new addition to our staff. And we have Stephanie Covey, who's not able to arrive until a week from now. She will be doing some PM interventions and leading our aftercare program. And we also have one person I forgot to share with Dr. Robbins. We have a new part-time school psychologist. Her name is Laurel Blau. As our district grows, we also have more kids referred for educational evaluation. So Laurel will be joining our team this year. So we're excited about that.
Okay, just real briefly, as we get ready to enter the new school year, and we're going to talk a little bit about the board's strategic plan, but we have really spent a lot of time in transforming what we do at Mount Vernon from the old industrial model of education to a new progressive 21st century model. At the end of the day, it's about learning for students. But we have determined that we have to get to their level and provide them with opportunities to engage. And so if you look up here, we had some talks last spring about the traditional classroom and the new modern classroom. We have several teachers that are looking at alternative seating arrangements in their classrooms. We'd already played with that a little bit. We continue to make progress towards that. Again, what I would like to tell you personally, be courageous and not be afraid of failure. If you try something different in your classroom and it doesn't work, that's how we grow. That's how we learn, adjust, and move on. But know that you have the support from your administrative team to be progressive and to be innovative for your students. So I wanted to show that slide because, you know, it's easy to forget that, you know, back in the 50s, the assembly line was very linear. The classrooms were very linear to mimic what students would enter into when they left our schools. What happened is a lot of technology hit the world and things started to change as we became more effective and efficient, and the linear patterns that we see in the workplace started to disappear, but they didn't disappear in our classrooms. And so now our students are going into these open concept work environments, the dress down work environments where there's no desk, or if it's a desk, you're standing. There's no chairs, they're balls, they're fidgety chairs, you know, all different types of environments. And so we need to start making our own progression in education to that same direction. And I think we've been very good at it at Mount Vernon. Several teachers have already experimented with it. We've had people come in and visit our buildings. And again, that goes back to what Mr. Roach said. We are now a destination and a model for what people like to see. We're a member of a digital consortium that looks at the different types of learning environments with Greenfield Central, Southern Hancock, and Noblesville schools. We meet very regularly to make sure that the professional development and the initiatives that we have are focused and in line, okay, with the things that we value in our community and our school district. So I wanted to show you that slide. Okay, this is the launch. Basically today, you're the first to see it. We've spent 9 months with the board, with the administrators, with the directors, looking at what the new strategic plan at Mount Vernon is going to look like. And if you look up on the stage, and you'll see these in our office, there are 4 pillars for us. There is academic improvement and assessment. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about in school. That's one of our pillars. Learning in a global community. Because of technology, you know, if any of you have read Friedman's The World is Flat, the world truly is flat in our economy and in the way we operate. And so our students need to be exposed to more than just Hancock County, Fortville, McCordsville, Cumberland, because the world they're going to live in and work in is much greater than that. Community engagement, the things that we do are essential with the support of our community. And community means a lot of things. It means our own internal community. It means the external community as well. And then community growth. Whether we like it or not, it is what it is. This area is growing. And so the part of the strategic plan is to have a vision on what that growth is doing to us and how we're going to respond to it. It's better to be proactive versus reactive. And I'll just tell you just a success story, and that is the redistricting of our elementaries. By looking at community growth, by meeting with our cities and towns, and getting an idea of what's happening, what's coming, we went ahead and did a little redistricting because we know that back 30 years ago when Mount Vernon became an incorporated school district, there were reasons why the boundaries were set the way they were set. But you can never predict or forecast where growth is going to occur. Well, growth all started happening in an area that was districted to McCordsville Elementary School. So by changing those boundaries a little bit, we now have 602 students, and I'm going to give you rough numbers because they change every day, but 602 students at Mount Comfort Elementary. We have 570-something at McCordsville Elementary School, and we have 620, 630 at Fortville Elementary School, where if we continued down the path we were on, we were going to hit almost 800 students at McCordsville and have 450 at Fortville. But by doing what we did, we've been able to balance our district and save the community money. because at some point, what are you going to do? You're going to have to add on to McCordsville Elementary School. You're going to have to make some really tough decisions. And so that's why the community growth and being proactive with some of the decisions we make good financial sense. It also gives us a better work environment. 800 kids in one building, and the largest elementary only had 450. It's going to be a much nicer work environment across the board. So these are our 4 pillars. And the way that the buildings will operate with those pillars are they're going to sit down with their staffs and they're going to talk about goals every year. If you look up here, you don't see when this strategic plan ends, because intentionally it won't end until there's enough community change in which the board thinks they need to go back to the table and recreate the strategic plan. So there's no end date on this. There's no more check boxes on this. We are going to work underneath these objectives. You're going to create goals within your buildings that fall within those parameters. And being an old military guy, I like to use the terms left and right limits. You have all that space in between to plan and make goals for the things that are going to be most effective and efficient for your building. Remembering that the ultimate goal and outcome is academic improvement and assessment, regardless of what the state or the federal government throws at us, okay? So I wanted to show that to you. You're going to see smaller models in each of your buildings because it represents who we are. You can look at our vision statement and it's simple. MV equals E3, to engage, educate, and empower today's students to achieve tomorrow's opportunities. Simple, right? And so these all fall within that same premise that the board has created. So I wanted this to be the first group to see it before the board launches it. And so here it is. And now you need to familiarize yourself with it a little bit to see some of the neat things that you can bring to your principals in your buildings and you can do within our district to help us grow.
We have 3 $50 Meijer gift cards.
All right. And the first one is, I don't have my glasses on. Can't see it.
Oh, you can't see it?
No, I can't.
Lauren Hendrick. Where's Lauren?
Yeah.
Come on down. All right, we'll go again.
All right. There. I don't want to butcher anybody's name.
Melissa.
I can't read. Is it M-O-N-T? Oh, that's Montague. Montag. Melissa. We got a. What'd you say we have? Melissa, you don't have to come up here. I think I may have thrown her back in there.
Heather Niskus.
I got 2 comedians. No, it's Karen Reister.
I am in such a generous mood. I do have one more prize. So how about $50 to Target? Here you go, Karen.
Jennifer Level. Yeah. All right. Thanks. Thanks, John. All right. Pretty excited about this. This is our welcome video, the new teacher orientation. You guys are going to see it twice. We haven't released it because I wanted you to see it first before we send this out, but we spent some time last spring in the district with a camera crew from the Central Indiana Education Service Center. This is a promotional video for Mount Vernon. So, Andrew, go ahead.
I am inspired, challenged. I am curious. I learned to be responsible.
Collaborative, a part of my community.
At Mount Vernon, what I dream.
What I dream.
What I dream. What I dream.
Becomes reality.
The reality is, Mount Vernon students can and will embrace opportunities, reach their full potential, and seize the future.
Here at Mount Vernon Community Schools, we provide a personalized, real-world student learning experience. Our technology-infused, one-to-one computer environment prepares students for success. We respect the uniqueness of every child. Each of our students are academically challenged in a safe, supportive environment. Our graduating class sizes of approximately 300 students allow our district to provide academic excellence with a personal touch. Our innovative programming at the high school continues to expand each year in STEM classes, vocational training, international exchange opportunities, and a fine arts academy. We provide rigorous academics while inspiring dreams, achievement, and ultimately success.
Mount Vernon students choose from a multitude of amazing opportunities in which to grow, achieve, and succeed in rigorous academic activities, the arts, science and technology, and athletics. At Mount Vernon Schools, academic excellence comes first. We are a progressive, exemplary Indiana school district where our achievements are matched by the success of our students. In our classrooms, blended learning combines technology with traditional education focused on real-world learning.
We call it teacher time groups, where you go up and so you're learning at your own pace, not going too slow, not going too fast. I think it's really nice that we can use computers in the classrooms because lots of kids like technology, so it's cool that we can bring that into education.
Our one-to-one technology, personalized learning, and smaller class size allow students to discover, collaborate, and develop the spirit of enterprise, innovation, and teamwork. These are the skills that enrich our students, helping them to succeed in college career and in life.
Because of the classes I've taken here at Mount Vernon, I feel better prepared to go to college and become a forensic scientist.
I don't even know if I could pick a favorite teacher because I feel like they've all been so influential.
This is a place where opportunities to achieve and grow are endless, where learning is exciting, where it empowers and challenges students. A new international baccalaureate and expanded STEM academy point to even greater opportunities ahead for our students.
I will be attending Indiana University. I'll be double majoring in international studies and Spanish. So the International Academy has really helped a lot with that. It's given me a huge head start.
At the Mount Vernon Community School Corporation, we respect the uniqueness of all children and cherish tailoring educational experiences for each student's personal development. This helps students become independent, critical thinkers and future citizens. We inspire a love of learning, caring for students as if they're our own.
Come visit Mount Vernon Schools.
Special thanks to Maria Bond for spending time with the videographers on that project. I think it represents our district well. Just going to end right now because I know you guys are ready to get back to your buildings, but I really look forward to working with you together this year as we work to provide the best education possible, not just in Hancock County, not just in Central Indiana, but in Indiana. We're going to lead and not follow. You've heard me say that, time and time again. You have my admiration and my support, and we will work very hard to find pathways of success for every single one of our students. So have a blessed and wonderful 2017-18, and welcome back.